My HOA president tried to frame me for drug possession, get my FBI agent's son fired, and steal the house I owned outright. She thought she was a queen, ruling her own private kingdom. What she didn't know was that my dead wife had already laid the perfect trap to bring her entire corrupt empire crashing down. My name is Dalton Reed. I'm a 58-year-old contractor who just wanted to escape a house full of ghosts. 2 years ago, cancer took my wife, Sarah. This beautiful home we built together became a graveyard of memories. Her coffee mug on the counter, her reading glasses on the nightstand. I couldn't breathe, so I bought a small cabin on Lake Hartwell, her favorite place. It was time to start over. All I had to do was sell my house in the perfect suburban community of Meadowbrook Estates. That's when I ran into Karen Peaton. Imagine a prison warden crossed with a real estate agent. For 8 years, Karen had ruled our HOA with an iron fist and a measuring tape. She'd fine neighbors for planting the wrong color flowers and measure grass with a ruler. She was a petty tyrant drunk on the tiny bit of power an HOA gave her. 3 weeks before my move, I filed the paperwork, by the book. Karen rejected it. Insufficient community impact assessment, she declared. The solution? Hire a certified HOA transition consultant for $2,500. The consultant, of course, was her sister. I told her where to shove her extortion. And that's when she declared war. It started small. Orange cones blocking my driveway. Lies spread on the neighborhood Facebook page that I was a deadbeat skipping town. Then, moving day arrived. That's when Karen chained my fully loaded moving truck to her mailbox. "You're not leaving," she shrieked, her face a mask of pure rage. She snatched my keys and tried to perform a citizen's arrest, with a pair of zip ties she'd clearly just bought on Amazon. Her witnesses? Terrified neighbors she was blackmailing. One was being fined for his fence height, another for her dog barking. They weren't her supporters. They were her hostages. I called the cops. They gave her a warning for harassment, but it was like throwing a bucket of water on a grease fire. It only made things explode. That night, she showed up at 2 a.m. in a cheap security guard costume, demanding to perform an emergency inspection. The next day, she filed bogus city complaints that got my house inspected. She sent a fake law firm, a letter she typed herself, to my moving company threatening to sue them. Then, she crossed a line she could never uncross. She called Child Protective Services and the FBI's Internal Affairs, filing anonymous, vicious complaints against my son Marcus. She claimed my son, a decorated federal agent, was psychologically unstable and using federal resources to harass her. His security clearance was put under review. She was trying to destroy his entire life over a neighborhood dispute. The final straw? She changed the locks on my house. My own house. A note taped to the door read, "Property secured pending HOA investigation." I had to pay a locksmith $80 to break into my own home. When I got inside, I saw she'd been through my things. But in her arrogant snooping, she made a fatal mistake. She'd left a manila envelope on my counter. Inside were bank statements, showing HOA funds being wired to a shell company, the same one her consultant sister supposedly worked for. Sarah always said criminals eventually hang themselves with their own rope. Karen had just handed me the noose. I called Marcus. "Dad," he said, his voice cold with fury. "This isn't HOA drama anymore. This is a federal case." The next morning, he flew in from DC. "We need to go through Mom's office," he said. I'd barely touched it since she passed. Marcus went straight to her filing cabinet and found a locked drawer. The key was exactly where I knew it would be, tucked beneath her wedding ring and her jewelry box. Inside, we found Sarah's secret. My wife, in the final months of her life, had been building a case. Bank records, highlighted invoices, handwritten notes. She'd uncovered everything. Karen's election fraud, the shell companies, the money laundering. The total was staggering. Over $127,000 stolen through fake maintenance contracts alone. But the most chilling discovery was a note in Sarah's handwriting. "Karen knows I'm investigating. Offered to help with my medical costs if I stop. When I refused, she said it would be tragic if something interfered with my treatment. That monster had threatened my dying wife." Suddenly, this wasn't just about my house. It was about justice for Sarah. Her files were a roadmap. We rallied the neighbors. Mrs. Samantha from across the street, a sweet old lady, turned out to be a retired IRS auditor. She brought over spreadsheets detailing 3 years of Karen's fraud that would make a CPA weep. We had the evidence. We had the witnesses. We had a plan. Marcus coordinated with his field office. We called an emergency HOA meeting. It was time to end this. The community center was packed. News crews waited outside. drawn in by Karen's bizarre press conference earlier that day where she'd publicly accused me of a criminal conspiracy. Karen stood at the podium, beaming, ready to deliver her final, triumphant performance. In the back, 3 men in dark suits sat silently. My son's colleagues from the FBI. Karen launched into her tirade, holding up the very bank statements Sarah had found. "These documents," she declared, "prove Dalton Reed stole over $200,000 from our community," she was confessing, on stage, to the entire neighborhood. That's when the vice president stood up. "Karen, the board has voted for your immediate removal." Then Mrs. Samantha stood. "Karen, I have a recording of you offering me a $5,000 bribe last week. Would you like me to play it?" The color drained from Karen's face. Finally, Marcus rose. The room fell dead silent as he flashed his badge. "I'm Special Agent Marcus Reed, FBI," he announced, turning to face her. "Karen Peaton, you are under federal investigation for mail fraud, wire fraud, and racketeering." She tried to run. She actually bolted for the door. But the agents in the back were waiting. The metallic click of handcuffs echoed through the room. As they led her away, screaming that she was the victim, something amazing happened. The room erupted in a standing ovation. Our neighbors, finally free from their tormentor, were clapping as justice was served. My wife's greatest gift was proving that when good people stand together, no tyrant is too powerful to fall. What's your worst HOA nightmare? Share your story in the comments below. You never know when you might be sitting on the key to bringing a local tyrant to justice. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're just getting started.